Hello. Today I want to talk to you about the craziest bout of social anxiety that I experienced this past weekend at the farmer's market. It was like maybe the worst that I've had it in a while. And being at the farmer's market, I kind of expect to be a little bit, what's the right word for it? Just like not in my comfort zone, you know, like talking to so many people, just being outside. It's a lot of fun, but I know it's not my comfort zone. Anyway, so two things happened to me this Saturday that really just had me shaken up by the end of it. Not in such a bad way. Overall, it was like a great experience. But anyways, I want to talk to you about that while I'm also, you know, being a little bit productive. I'm making an herb bowl in this, and I think I tried to do it last year and I just added way too many different kinds of herbs and they all like want to get bigger and this is not enough space for it, I guess. So today I thought I would try just adding 3 herbs and 3 like very similar environment needing herbs. So rosemary, I want to put in some oregano and some thyme. I have Greek oregano and I have German winter thyme. I made another one of these just the other day and it has za'atar in it. It has the Syrian oregano, and this one I figured I'd have with Greek oregano. And I figured I would take these next weekend to the farmer's market. Side note, I just want to tell you about the potting mix that I'm using to get everything potted up. I'm doing a lot of like up potting, so a lot of my perennials now actually I'm putting in bigger pots, and for this herb bowl, this little herb planter that I'm potting, I have to use, you know, more potting mix. And one thing that I really love is the seedling mix. It's from Elm Dirt. And Elm Dirt has sent me out like a bunch of different things over the past couple of years for me to try out and see how I like. I really love the ingredients on this. I really just feel like I am feeding like my ground, the pots, the containers that I'm planting in. I am giving them like very healthy things. Worm casting, coco coir, azomite, and perlite. So very simple, 4 ingredients. I like that the first ingredient is worm castings, which are a great source of not only nutrients, but of like a microbiome that is very healthy to plants. It just feels like so natural and right to be planting my plants in these. So I hope that it gives them all a great start. Because I have only like this bag, I've been mixing it with Pro Mix. So this is a BX Pro Mix. There you go. It has a lot of mycorrhizal fungi in here, which is also great to have in the earth. So between the both of them, I think I'm giving my plants a very good, healthy start to their lives. Anyway, back to the video. By the way, the farmer's market went really well. I mean, like, it went decently. It didn't go as well as Memorial Day weekend last year, but we made about the same amount as we did the weekend before when I made my first video about it, how much money we made at the farmer's market. And this week we made about the same amount. I didn't take much footage then because I was busy, because I was super shaken up by these events. Okay, so the first incident gave me really bad social anxiety, or I guess where my social anxiety really came out, really expressed itself, was when one very kind woman came up, started talking to us a little bit, and she's like, you know what, I'll take all of your nasturtiums, I'll take all of your rudbeckia as well. And so I had 6 pots of each variety of nasturtium, and I had 2 varieties of nasturtium. So overall it was 12 pots of nasturtium and 3 pots of rudbeckia that I had left. But I was so flustered, and I think so thankful and grateful. This woman was very nice and was just like, yep, I'll take the lot of it. And she didn't mind. I know the prices are kind of high for these like plants that I was selling, but she was totally fine with it and she was okay. I told her I would give her a discount because she was buying so much. But in the process of it all, and I was like packing them up for her in her bag because it was so many plants. She had a couple of bags that we could put them in, and for some reason I just like blacked out, or like when I was trying to figure out how much she owed me to pay, I totally discounted 6 of the pots of nasturtium. So in my mind it was like 9 pots at $5 each. I should really get to planting this as well. It was 9 pots at $5 each. And that was a total of 45 in my head when it should have been 12 pots at $5 each, which, you know, it's not that big of a difference. I was mixing 6, which was a difference about $30. So instead of 45, it should have been $75. But in my mind, I was like, you know, she owes me 45 and I'll give her a bit of a discount. So maybe like 40, 35 or 40. And I think she realized that I was doing the math wrong and she just gave me a 50 and she's like, I was just so flustered. I was putting things in her bag. I have a hard time like you know, getting change out, and I don't know what happens to me in moments like this. I seriously don't function like a human being. It's like I'm an alien like spirit but in a human's body, and all of a sudden I have these limbs that I don't fully know how to control, and it's just like not a great time. I don't know if that makes sense to you when I say it, but that's like exactly how I feel. Like I just don't know how this all works anymore. It's like my mind is so distracted by like, what the fuck is going on? Like, let me just try to get my mind around like what's happening. How should I act? And then I totally forget how to behave like as a normal person would. So anyways, I was like, okay, you know what? You come back and I'll have your change ready for you, because she gave me a $50 bill. And I was like, okay, I owe. But she was like, no, don't worry, I'll give you 50 and we'll call it even, like I don't mind, because I think she realized I wasn't counting some of the pots, and that was very sweet of her. Yeah, I think maybe she was confused also of like, did I have a different pricing system than what she was expecting? I have a sign saying the prices, but maybe I don't know, or was I like okay just giving her such a steep discount? I don't know. Anyway, she came back and we had her plants ready for her, and I gave her $10 back. I was like, here's your $5 change, and here's also like a discount, and I gave you an extra $5. She was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I would feel bad if I didn't give you your change. And then, you know, she went off. She was very kind and very sweet. You know, I don't feel bad at all about giving her those extra plants. I honestly don't mind, especially from somebody who's getting like a lot of them. And those nasturtiums were not like the most mature anyways. They were still like, you know, decently sized seedlings, but not as big as some of my other plants. So I was happy just to let some of them go for a little, for a lot less. It honestly hit me later, like maybe 10 minutes later, or maybe half an hour later. Brendan went to walk around some of the other stalls, and he came back and I was just like, Brendan, I just gave away like 6 pots for free, 6 plants for free. From that point on, that happened at maybe like 10 in the morning, or like 11 in the morning. It was in the first half for sure of the farmer's market. We're there from 9:30, like we're there earlier, but it starts at 9:30 and it goes to 2:30. I felt bothered, yeah, again, not because I gave those plants away. I'm totally happy to, and that woman was so nice. She deserves them. I don't mind like giving some away for free. But yeah, what bothered me the most was just like, I cannot believe myself. Like, how do I just let things like that happen? Like, and in my mind I was thinking like, oh, that one must have thought like I'm such a moron, like I'm such an idiot. Like, how can I don't know, you know, I just get down on myself for like, I don't know, for just like letting things slip like that. Even though it wasn't a big deal, like I truly don't mind it. But yeah, that sort of like had me in a weird state of mind. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time multitasking. So far I have my rosemary in. I have some Greek oregano. I think I'm gonna put in like 2 plants and sort of like make it look full, fill it up, and it'll grow out well. But like oregano, rosemary, and thyme, these like woody herbs, they can grow pretty slowly, especially in like a colder climate that we have, so I don't mind like filling it up a bit. What else was I gonna say? So that's how it started. That's how just want to turn this oregano around a little bit. yeah, that's how it started. And you know what? If that was all it was, like, I wouldn't have thought, you know, that was a day filled of social anxiety. But the second thing that happened to me really just, like, I don't know, like, it made my heart race. Like, it was bad. And it wasn't that nobody involved in any of these was doing or saying anything negative, really. They were all very sweet and kind. It's just like me looking back thinking, oh, I'm such like an idiot. Like, I don't know, I don't want to use that word. Like, oh, I'm so bad at this. I can't do it. I can't do like the simplest things, and me being hard and down on myself. So anyway, the second thing comes along, and there's a lovely woman, and she's there with a man. I don't really know them. I don't know their relationship, but there were two people there, and they were asking me about some of the flowers. She was very into perennials, and I had some perennial flowers, so I was talking to her about it. Then she picked out like a bunch of perennials. Like, I was very happy. I was excited that she liked like perennials and she was into them, and I'm like so for that, and I'm the same way. So I was just like already getting like a little bit flustered, but not in a bad way, you know. I'm just like engaging, and it's not my comfort zone again, but I was having a good time. She goes to pay and she hands me $100 bill, and I was like, no, it's fine, I have change. And so she bought $55 worth of plants. She actually bought a little bit more, but I didn't tell her that. I just like auto discounted her because she was buying a lot, and because she was being so sweet and like interested in these things. And you know, I'm totally happy to give discounts out. Yeah, then I'm just like fumbling through my cash. I have to count ones. It's difficult because I had like a piece of paper or receipt in my hand. You know, I should have just like trying to be more organized. I am not especially like in these moments of anxiety. Like I said before, my body just does not know how to work. It's like my brain cannot communicate to the rest of my body in the same way as I can like when I'm just like totally normal and relaxed. So I was already like struggling a bit with that, but I had my head wrapped around it. I knew what I was going to pull out and give to her, and it was just taking a little bit longer. And then they start talking to me about, oh, have I ever like thought about, you know, selling handmade like ceramic pots? And that's like super interesting to me because I have a friend who makes beautiful ceramic pots. She's not in the state, or else I would have already definitely asked her if she wouldn't mind me selling some of them at the farmer's market. So it's actually something that I had considered before, and I was just like, oh, well, I would be totally... I was like, oh, I don't know, no, we don't do that right now, but, you know, maybe if I can get my hands on some, as I was still, like, trying to count out the cash. Again, like, just understand that it's already taking me a long time to do this, and now I have to, like, talk and, not have to, I'm not saying that as a negative thing, but now I'm speaking as well. And it's just like making things a little bit harder for me. I'm going a little bit slower. I have to restart my counting just because I get anxious and I can't remember if I did the right thing or not. And the guy was like, hey, I make ceramics and I can have my kiln here in like 2 weeks or something like that. And I was just like... Okay, a lot of things started running through my mind at that point. At that point, I wanted to tell him, that's amazing, like, I would love to know more about it. I'd love to, like, if you're interested, I could try and help you sell them here at the farmer's market, or, like, have them at my stand. But I wanted to, like, ask him to, like, add my social media and, like, Instagram me and, like, DM me and, like, talk to me more about it there. And then I started thinking, like, is that so inappropriate to ask somebody to DM me? Is there like a social stigma around DMing people that's like maybe a little bit inappropriate? And I was just getting so in my head about that because there was a man and a woman there, and I was like, you know, are they together? Is it so inappropriate of me to be telling that? Even though I have none of those intentions of, like, you know, sliding into DMs for more saucy reasons. I don't do that. But then I was just getting so in my head of like, so I'm getting more and more flustered. In the end, I asked like Brendan to just give him some of the stickers that I have for the business for the farmers market, and that has my social media accounts on it. And I was just like, yeah, just like reach out to me on social media about those. I'd be glad to take a look at them to see if like we can work together on this, basically. And to me, I have no idea how I looked or what I said from the outside. I know what I meant and I know what I tried to say, and I just don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they must have thought like I was doing or like saying. Anyways, so I gave some change back, and I was like, is this how much I owe you? Just still like very flustered. And she's like, no, because I gave you 100 and this is only like 25 or whatever. And I meant to give her 45 back. So I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm so flustered. Gave her another 20. And she was totally understanding. She's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I have social anxiety too. And sometimes, you know, when people are talking to me, I feel a certain way. She was super understanding about it. I think, and she recognized that it was social anxiety. I said I was like flustered and everything, but I was mortified. I just could not stop thinking, like, did she think at all like that I was trying to take her money or more money than she owed me? My heart was racing, like, long after they left, like pretty much for the end of that day. Thankfully that was right at the end of it, and we started packing up very soon after. But honestly, for the rest of the time that I was there, I just felt sick, a little sick to my stomach. And and it's not those people's fault at all. They were being so nice and kind, and they were just like engaging with me in a way that I really appreciated too. I like it when people like come and talk to me and ask me about the plants, and I was so happy that, you know, they even thought to bring up the ceramics and things like that. But I could not get over how I acted in that situation, and I was just really upset about it. And again, my heart was racing. I felt like I was gonna puke, and I kept telling that to Brendan. I was like, I don't feel good, like I'm sick to my stomach, I'm about to puke. And normally I'll have like a moment of like awkwardness or just like a little bit of anxiety, and it just like goes away immediately afterwards, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just being silly. That's just who I am. But this time, I don't know what it was. Like, maybe it was because two big things happened that day. After we sort of unloaded everything, I had to take a nap. We ended up going to like a friend's birthday party afterwards, and so we had a couple of hours, and I was just like, I need my body to calm down somehow. Like, hopefully I'll take this nap and everything will be okay. And it was. You know, it was just like, yeah, a lot. If you have some amount of social anxiety, I do hope you understand. Even if you don't, I hope you understand it at least, like maybe a little bit of what I was going through. If you experience similar things, you are not alone. It happens. And yeah, you know, now I'm fine, and I'm looking forward to the next farmer's market. But just like, yeah, on Saturday, it was a trip. It was an experience. And, you know, as sick as I was feeling, as like, I don't know, like upset or like embarrassed about myself as I was, everything is totally fine. And today I recognize it, you know, it's all good. Okay, so I have the rosemary here, I have oregano here, Greek oregano, and this is the German winter thyme. And it's looking very bare here. Part of me is thinking maybe I should add some other herb to it. I have some Thai basil, which might be okay in this planter. It's a little bit more hardy to the elements, I found, than some of the other basil that I'm growing. Or maybe I could also add some violas, just make it a little bit prettier. You know, I might do that. I might move this rosemary bit if I can dig it out. And then maybe I'll put a couple of like violas here. And then hopefully all these herbs will just kind of like grow outward from the middle. Okay, I got like a pack of my Brush Strokes Viola. Just gonna pick a couple, maybe a couple of the smaller ones. Okay, these don't look to be like super root bound or anything. I'm trying to break up a little bit the root ball at the bottom on the sides, but they're really okay. And just find a space for them. Honestly, maybe 3 plants. So there's like a rule in gardening or designs to do things in like groups of 3 or 5, you know, odd groups like that. I think it's because like when you have like just a pair of things, it kind of looks like eyes, and maybe that's a little unnerving. Okay, and I'll fill this in. You know what? Violas are kind of, they're edible for sure. Their blooms are definitely edible. Great for garnishes. Okay, I really like how this bowl, like, I can mound planting on it. I can mound like the potting mix up. But I've got to make sure it's even. And I've got to be a little bit careful, I think, when watering it. Especially because this potting soil I'm putting on top is dry, so the water might just like kind of slide off the surface. Okay, well, this is done. I'm gonna just take this outside. Actually, I'm gonna make sure I have all the labels in. I think that will be helpful. I'll get that sorted out. I'm gonna take it outside. Just let all the plants like grow into this and like settle in, and hopefully maybe fill out more. I doubt it's gonna fill out so much more by the time next weekend comes around, by the time the farmers market comes around again. And I'll take it there and I'll see how well this does. I'm thinking this should be maybe $30. Maybe that's a bit steep. I'll think about it a little bit more, but it's a bunch of plants, and it's this container as well, which wasn't that expensive. It's resin, it's pretty lightweight, but it still is, it's not cheap. It's not one of the nursery pots. So I'll think about that a little bit more, see how well it does. I think people do like it to be already like planted up for them and just something that they can have out in their garden. A piece like this, and if this doesn't sell, I'm just gonna have it on my my patio table, like right in the middle as a centerpiece. I think it would look great there. It'd be great like if we have people over and we just like are hanging out on the deck. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll take this outside. Thanks so much for watching. If you know anybody in Anchorage, or if you're in Anchorage and are free over the Saturdays and want to come to Spenard Farmers Market, I'll be there for hopefully like a bunch of weekends this summer. I hope that my flowers will like start to bloom. I'm already starting to get, by the way, some tulips and an anemone popped up, which was really exciting. Not enough to like have a bouquet at the farmers market, but maybe I'll have something for next week, if not that, the week after. Anyways, I'm off for now. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Okay, second side note. I know you guys have an old t-shirt in your closet somewhere that you wear to sleep, that you maybe wear to work out in, that you've had for years, maybe even decades. Well, do any of your t-shirts do this? Have they done this? I'm just like why there? Why is it on both arms and it doesn't happen to any other shirt of mine? This is my old college shirt, Go Bears. So it's like over 10 years old for sure. And I just think it's so funny that like under the arms, I guess I used to work out in this, and maybe it's just like a lot of friction back when I worked out, you know? But yeah, I just thought it was so funny.